Now it's time for a fun Digimon game of a double release. That's the right way to say it. Anyways, because Digimon World Dawn and Dusk released at the same time, and because of it most of the game, if not all, are same between games. Then I call them a double release. Then at first, maybe I wanted to have one video about both games, but after some time I planned only review of Dusk, and then Dawn video will be in difference between these games. However, when I'm writing this video, I'm not sure, because the start between the games are different. Like I always was planning, I checked out Dawn and saw difference in how the games starts. So then this video will be just about Dawn, as you already saw from the trailer and thumbnail. But then maybe the Dusk video will be immediately after this video, as immediately as possible, as in without having the other game videos in between these videos. But maybe there will be other types of videos between these game videos. But I'll see when the time comes. And these videos will be published when they are ready. So no video scheduling anymore for me, for now. Anyways, sorry about rambling, I shall be saying stuff about the game. Digimon World Dawn, which is called Digimon Story Sunburst in Japanese. Again, the localization team arbitrarily added these games to the World franchise, when originally they are in the Story franchise. Was developed by BAC, which merged with Presto to become BB Studio, and was published by Bandai Namco Games, now known as Bandai Namco Entertainment, only for Nintendo DS. Probably because it was only an active, popular and old device, and or because it is also in both screens. It's why it is only for Nintendo DS. By the way, I watched the trailer animations video about this game, but surprisingly nothing came to my mind from that video. Only about that there is a post game from the video comments. Before the game starts, the game makes you choose a Digimon starter pack, after choosing which gender you are and naming characters. So you not just get one Digimon, but 3 Digimon. But of course the box art Digimon is included in each starter pack. So that's one reason to choose either Dusk or Dawn game, because of a box art Digimon differences. However, these Digimon are already default. It's because you are part of the Light Wang team competing in the normal tournament against the Night Ground team, which is a sort of the draw. After you win the tournament and rest in your training house, a virus infects the digital world where NPC Digimon become Dig-X and your Digimon are default. Degenerate. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce it. Degenerated back to rocky forms. Because of it, the player needs to investigate what is happening in the digital world by exploring dungeons. They are called dungeons, but the places can be some places that are either indoors or outdoors on an island. Only then does a player character gets a Digimon. So before this story starts, the player character chooses these Digimon, but in earlier forms than what the player chooses or chose. and only granted this Digimon to the forms which the player has the option to choose to be able to compete in the normal tournament. With the player character didn't need to worry about having Digimon in the Digifarm, or the player character couldn't have more than 3 Digimon in the party before the player takes over the player's character. So yeah, how long did the player character need to grant that these forms which appear in the starting pack to the player without having a Digifarm? Now thinking about the story, I might feel indifferent about it. I feel it is in the game just to push the player to complete the game. I don't know what else to say. Or maybe I actually have something to say about it. Maybe to some degree it is an enjoyable story, but I don't know what else to say about it, or say it in a different way. Yeah, I enjoyed the story even then here and there were downtimes, which isn't just story-wise but overall game experience, which I will talk about later. Maybe. By the way, both of these games introduce Sayu. I mentioned it because she is the opposite of the player, and if you play as a girl, the game has recolored sprite of air, and probably it recolored sprite of down is also as it on sprite in task, because she is probably on the opposite team also in the game, and choosing to play as a girl in task, his sprite gets also as a player's character sprite, but maybe more about it in the task video, but I chose to play as a boy in that game. I guess I will continue what's similar or same in tasks to World DS, which you already have seen from the game footage. There is similarities to World DS, which includes things that I didn't use in World DS playthrough. Bubbles are the same where there are zones and techniques and items of zones, even a reviving item that revives 3 Digimon, but you can't revive 3 Digimon at the same time, because you either need to switch to the level of Digimon or you get defeated. However, with this game I understood that it's a roundabout way to revive 2 Digimon which aren't besides each other, and there are empty zones between both Digimon. Moving Digimon in the ball to a different zone doesn't waste the Digimon turn, even if your Digimon are besides each other, they get a bonus, which varies by Digimon what kind of bonus each Digimon will receive. However, switching to real life Digimon in the battle owes Digimon turn, even if you switch different Digimon, then which Digimon's turn it is correctly. With which, I could have switched my defeated Digimon with full Digimon in battles in both games. But of course defeated Digimon doesn't get experience after the battle, they get revealed only with 1 health point. And of course when Digimon levels up, the health and mana are refilled. And it's also the same if you default the Digimon where health and mana are refilled. If you lose battle, it isn't game over. You return to your timer on. Still, there are Digimon types other than Virus, Theta and Vaccine types. No mention of these in this game. like only Draco, Bird, etc., which also separates Digimon experience into different types, which are the requirements for Digivolutions. Still, Digimon can use equipment, which is more than just accessories. But of course, which gets unequipped when Digimon Digivolves, even after Digivolutions. The Digimon meets the equipment requirements. Still, when the Digimon Digivolves, the game prompts you to rename your Digimon. Some assets from default DS are reused, of course, like art assets are reused, and maybe even some level layouts are reused. Which wasn't a lot, so it's fine. Digimon have traits and abilities which are auto effects. Still not sure if they are just active, if the Digimon is in the active slot, or also when the Digimon is in the relief slot. Of course, both Digimon still takes over multiple zones, which is easier to fight against. Except post-game boss battles. Okay, that might be talking already too far with it, spoiler phase. Still, Digimon max level can be seen only from experience screen, or if it reaches max level after max battle. Still, the scan animations plays for every Digimon in the encounter, even if it doesn't scan anything. This I didn't mention in full DS video, but in puzzle screens, objects can still block visibility of opponent Digimon, which isn't needed for a turn-based game, but it gets a little bit annoying. And with it, there isn't a back sprite of your Digimon. Only the head sprite of your Digimon appears in turn order display. Thankfully, there is an overfull sprite of your Digimon. Of course, as you already have seen visually, the color scheme is different. Probably not all colors, but some colors has been changed to be in theme with the game style down. Now the gameplay phase what is changed. Now the main story elements counts as quests, and now the side quest button is called just quest button. It's because there is a place where you can accept a quest, so you don't accept quests from your Digimon anymore. And that's why the quest button isn't called side quest button anymore. But with it you can find out what you need to unlock a quest. Only by talking with NPCs you might be able to figure out what you need to unlock a quest, but not sure if this dialogue changes for these NPCs when story progress. Still, for some side quests you need a specific Digimon in your form. Because of that quest system, I wasn't sure if there were side quests or also main story element will trigger at the start of the game. Separate Digimon are giving side quests, and then there is a main Digimon which gives you main quests. This time quest items that you need to find appear in chests. This time when completing a quest, you don't receive just damage points, but also actual rewards like currency and slash or items. Still, for enough damage points you can get more rewards. But this time it isn't said how much you need to get rewards. It just says that getting more damage points you will be getting rewarded. It didn't happen to me in full days playthrough, but this game says you can only set one quest at a time, so I'm not sure if this is different or not. Thankfully, specific side quests are nearby where you need to them. This game separates Digifarm and Digilab into different access points. It's because both are one layer deeper. Now before them there is a timer also. Now your Digimon don't get ill if you go back to the city. You need to go to your timer home to heal your Digimon. Farm gods, instead of taking a space, they are a specific size with which memories are set for farm gods. Okay, I guess I don't want to talk about Digifarm and Digilab in separate sections. Then I'll go back a little bit to what is the same as World DS. Digifarm Digimon still can train either automatically or manually. Of course, manually will stress them out. Digimon still takes one slot in the farm, but a different that might be us for it. Digifarm Digimon still need to have food, but this time you don't get food from bows. Digifarm Digimon still can send items or bits if they find them in the farm. Digifarm reports can't interrupt whatever flow there is to be interrupted. However, you can pause the game or get in the encounter before it interrupts the flow. Now Digifarms have terrain and PGM pods, which can be applied to different farms. Like if you have multiple terrain pods for one farm, then you can use other terrain pods for different farms. Buying terrain and PGM pods are locked to specific farms. Or even you can sell them to buy the same terrain or PGM pod for a different farm. Terrain pods change the look for the farm and gives more experience to specific Digimon types, and PGM pods change background music for specific farm and increase and decrease ground rate for specific Digimon types. From Digilab you can dig for Digimon and have option to dig full Digimon, but also with it, armor and DNA Digivolves get separated into special Digivolves. Then train to Digivol Digimon from the Digilab, going back it doesn't go to the Digimon select screen, but it goes all the way back to the Digilab first menu. So for regular Digivolution you still can do it from the Digimon start screen. It's more in-depth Digivolution system. Each Digimon has a lot more forms to Digivol into than it was in World DS. DNA Digivolutions is catalyzed Digimon World to DNA Digivolutions, where one Digimon absorbs different Digimon, basically loading the Digimon. However, the loading Digimon can take over the Digimon which you want to absorb loaded Digimon data. That's for the most of the Digimon. Of course, there are some exceptions for chains to stronger forms with DNA Digivolutions, which I didn't get to experience. However, it seems that DNA Digivolutions absorb patients but doesn't gain noticeable status changes. Of course, if you have an armored Digimon, then you need to use Digilab to armored Digivol Digimon which can armor Digivol, which might be using an armored Digimon, or at least it seemed like that. Or there is a level requirement for the form which can be seen. Except for absorptions DNA Digivolutions, level resets back to 1 for Digimon when they Digivol or de-Digivol. You can't skip the Digivolutions. You can Digivol only if you reach the requirements with the next Digivolutions form. Now every technique takes for short costs mana. If I remember correctly, if World DS attacks that costs 0 mana. Also another thing with text is there are limits on them. I believe it's 4 texts that can be transferred to different Digivolution forms, and each Digivolution form has its own exclusive text. I didn't encounter that traits are limited. Multi-attack takes auto targets to different Digimon if an opponent Digimon gets defeated in the middle of its use. There are decks which can attack all assassins, basically AO attack on all enemies. Of course, there are instead decks which activate more often for opponent Digimon, so I didn't bother having deck like that, or decks like that. This game introduced Digimon attributes, which are used for things like rock, paper, scissors system. Like attributes represents if a Digimon is weak or resistance to specific attributes. There isn't a marking if there will be a boss battle. In the early game it seemed like my Digimon were missing way too much, and then the opponent Digimon missed rarely. You still need to face a specific direction to interact with some of the game objects. Seeming like the fall Digimon skill to my level in some part of the game. Maybe this added to it or not, but already in the first side quest that I was think there was a difficulty spike. Like before doing second main story quest, for which there will be a bigger difficulty spike if I would alternate first. Like I completed the first main quest with little running away from random encounters, and that wasn't enough experience for my Digimon. So I tried I did quests in the following order, but turns out I still encountered a difficulty spike when I was doing the main quest, when I completed the quest, what I had available to do. That's why I said without doing side quest, the second main quest would have been more difficult. Of course, the first main quest was a tutorial quest. Like already after the tutorial quest, there is a difficulty spike, but okay, I've waited for max level for Digimon to be able to dig for them. Maybe that's why it seemed like there is difficulty spike. In later quests there might be a difficulty spike while doing the quest. Maybe like an opponent Digimon being 15 levels higher than the previous week's Digimon. It seemed like it just can randomly appear in a dungeon where you explored it. In some quests where you need to speak to Digimon, these Digimon can march somewhere else without explaining. They won't be at the same place where you need to meet them in the first place. Because the game doesn't mention if the Digimon stays in the place or moves to different place, then it's a cheap way to pass the playtime. When the player not sure if they need to go back or to find out there isn't a Digimon anymore. Especially when there is no way to stop random encounters while searching where Digimon went. And I tried the game glitched. And with the quest, Digimon can go to the city, and you only can find out by opening the quest menu from the pause menu. Like I shouldn't need to rely on the quest menu to know if I should find the Digimon in the dungeon or in the city. Either buying items or selling them in the store, the game returns you to the first store menu, where you can choose either buy or sell. Of course, there are still inconsistencies with the locations, like the player shelter gets misgendered if you play as a girl, and it uses English term for evolutions, evolutions, but then it doesn't use English term for generation, evolutions. Of course, there are NPCs who are full of tutorials. I attempted the first main quest of the boss game. I lost as the last battle. Okay, I used all of the reviving items in this and in the previous battles that I had. So my Digimon might have been under level for it, but also I didn't find effective attacks for the last battle when I had found effective attacks for previous battles of this post-game quest. I'm not sure if I'll attempt it in this game or maybe try grinding from the start of the task to attempt it in the task game. I'll say about that when the time comes, but then again if this video script is finished then I might not play it now. A quest as the original game title, Digimon Story Sunburst, implies you should be getting the game for the story, not for the gameplay. That's more or less the same as World DS. Of course, the gameplay helps you to be immersed in the game, even with some unlikable changes. DNA and armor deck evolutions having separate menus, instead of having those refinements in Digimon deck launch menu for the specific forms. And then having immediately difficulty spike after finishing what could be the game's tutorial. Or at least what I assume it's a tutorial quest, which the game automatically makes you to do without your input. Looking past these problems, it's an enjoyable game, and of course you can choose because of box art Digimon and Slush, or which team you want to do, while so you will be on the team, maybe, to play either Dawn or Dusk or both. Like how I am doing already while this video is in work in progress stages. Only with it I might get turn-based role-playing game burnout if I play similar or basically the same games in a row. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like the video, subscribe and comment. See you next time.